All right, we are live. Everybody, welcome to Korean Cardboard Podcast. Today, I am joined by Rob at CPBL Stats from Twitter, and the one and only Deck McGuire, a former Samsung Lion pitcher, and this year he's just starting with the Rakuten Monkeys in the CPBL League. So, welcome, guys.
Hey, guys.
All right.
Hey, guys. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So as everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of KBO. I live in Korea, and Deck played for the Samsung Lions, who are maybe 20 minutes from my house. Actually, I'm lying. It's more like an hour now. But when Deck pitched for the Samsung Lions in 2019, I did not get to a lot of games because it takes like me an hour to take the subway and the bus to get to the Samsung Lions Park. So I did not get to many games. So I did not get to see him throw a no-hitter against the Hanwha Eagles. So I wish we'll get back to that later. But I'm sure you enjoy it. You're not never get tired of talking about that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a pretty special day, no doubt about it.
I'm sure it's up there. Maybe not your most exciting, but we'll get there in time. But I know people. I'm pretty enamored when it comes to foreign players, whether it's in Japan or CPBL or Korea when I've lived abroad, and whether it's you or Ben Lively or a bunch of other people, especially Samsung players like Darren Ruff. I really miss Darren Ruff. I wish you got to play with him. But did you ever meet Darren Ruff?
Yeah, we played together in 2019.
Wait, he did leave it. Yeah, he was here in 19. I'm sorry. Yeah, so 17, 18, 19 he played there. I was thinking these years are getting all mixed up now. So what was your experience like with Darren?
I mean, he's one of the best. I'm so thankful that him and his family were there. Obviously just having the experience in the league, so kind of walking me through some of the tougher transitions, I guess you'd call them. But also my family didn't get to come out until a little later, so I was kind of their second son for a while. And I mean, Darren's just the best, and having him there, through some of the tougher times. And I know his KBO career didn't get off to like the best start ever, so just having him there to talk to and him just being the kind of guy he is was awesome.
Yeah, I remember when that actually. I meant to ask you this. Did you ever? There's another foreigner living here named John, and he's an older gentleman. I think he's with the Marine Corps. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Do you know
John Barron? Heck yeah. That guy's the best.
Yeah. Actually, I sent him a link to this, but I don't think he responded in time. But it would be, if you wanted to join, I don't know if you know how to get on here. I'd have to explain too much, but I'd have to handhold him and hold his hand. But yeah, John has been here for like 25 years, I want to say. And I had season tickets in 2017, which was Ruff's first year. And when he had that first 4 months, he was playing really badly. And I'm like, I don't remember what I was thinking, but I was not happy. But from the point when he came back to when he left, he was amazing.
Yeah, I think kind of the deal was he ended up winning the RBI title that year, even after basically spending, I think it was 3 straight weeks in the minors or something like that. Some point in May, I believe it was. And yeah, I mean, the guy's just a professional hitter. I mean, he showed it again. He was in the big leagues with the Giants almost all year last year, if not all year. And the guy's just one of the best. And yeah, I mean, his story goes back a long time. We played against each other for at least 2, if not 3 years. In the early minors when he was with the Phillies and I was with the Blue Jays. And yeah, the guy's just always really been able to hit.
And I'm assuming that when people don't think about these things, when foreigners come abroad and start playing against each other again, that you guys could have very well played against each other in the minors and the majors. I'm jumping ahead to KBO stuff because that's mostly what I know. So let's go back. So you went to Georgia Tech, right?
I did. Yes, sir.
And looking at when I looked up stuff, you were, was it the player was, I don't know, forgive me if I'm wrong here, player of the year, or you won some award, or you were really high up in ACC or the whole Division 1A? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, so I was 2009. I won the ACC Pitcher of the Year. First one in Georgia Tech history. Go Jackets. But yeah, so 2009 won ACC Pitcher of the Year, and actually that year I finished. I guess I was like a finalist or something for the Pitcher of the Year award. two of the four guys I think that were up for that with me were Mike Leake and Steven Strasburg. Probably heard of them. They're pretty good. And Strasburg ended up winning it, obviously, because he still is unbelievable. But in college, it was just what he did was special. So yeah, had a pretty good career. Georgia Tech. I love my time there. Some of my best friends in the world are from there, and we were really good for my 3 years.
And I have it here. So you're from Virginia?
Yes. Yep. Grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
All right. And then you went to Georgia Tech. And then I see New Hampshire. Was that your first stint?
No. So I got drafted in 2010. Didn't play. We were the old signing period. So I didn't sign until like middle August, maybe. So basically minor league season's, only like 2 weeks left. So didn't play that year, just went to Instructs, kind of started to get used to kind of the Blue Jays pitching philosophy and stuff like that. My first year in 2011, I actually started in Dunedin, which is in High A, Florida State League. I know they just realigned everything, so I don't know where anybody is anymore, but it used to be High A, the Florida State League. I made, I think, 18 or 19 starts there, something like that, and then got called up to New Hampshire. And then I decided I liked my time in New Hampshire so much, I stayed for roughly the next 4 years, parts of 4 years, kind of just a roller coaster. Had some good ones, had some bad ones, and kind of grinded my way through some stuff. And then, the story goes on. I think that started at the end of 2014 or middle. I got called up to AAA. I spent, I guess it was probably a month and a half, I think, something like that in Buffalo, 2 months. Got traded to the Oakland A's. Was only there for about a month. In the end of the year in Sacramento. Went to spring training with them, got released, signed with the Dodgers, went to AA Tulsa and AAA Oklahoma City. I was almost there for about half the year in each place. And then 16 Cardinals, 17 Reds, made my debut in September of 17 with the Reds. 18 signed back with the Blue Jays. I kind of make the joke. It was like the girlfriend that I felt like I had some unfinished business with. So, went back and had the opportunity to get called up there, threw a few times in the big leagues with them. Designated for assignment, claimed by the Rangers, was in Round Rock for 2 whole days. Wow. Designated again, traded to the Angels. Was in Anaheim, again, kind of up and down for the rest of the year. And then 19 in the in the KBO with Samsung. Wished it had finished differently, but kind of struggled, had some bad luck on some balls off the body. And 2020, signed with the Rays, went to spring training. And then obviously COVID hit, and just like a lot of baseball players, minor leaguers, college guys, everything, my life got kind of put on hold, and had an opportunity in 2021 to come over to Taiwan and play for the Rakuten Monkeys and keep the dream alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about just keep wearing a jersey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So somebody asked me a few years ago, what's the best advice you'd give a young baseball player? And I'd like to take credit for it, and I don't remember who told me, but somebody always told me if you keep getting a jersey, it means you got a chance. And it's kind of the way my career's been, especially the last 4 or 5 years, just with different situation, kind of the way the game is trending to a certain extent. Guys my age with as little big league time, having zero, I guess, for a long time, and then as little as I do now, it's just kind of a really hard thing to get a chance to keep playing. So, anybody who will give me that jersey, I'm in. Let's go.
I did want to ask you, because as you said, 2011 through 2016, obviously you went to several different places, New Hampshire being the most common. And New Hampshire is, was that Manchester?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. The Fisher Kittens.
Yeah, the Fisher Cats. Yeah, the kittens. Yeah, cats. I have relatives in Littleton, Mass, which is not far from the border into Mass, and I know that they go up to see Fisher Cats a lot. And I almost went to a game, but that didn't happen. I wanted to ask you, with your minor league experience, and I can only imagine it's a lot of bus rides and stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of bus rides. I've gone anywhere from the commuter trip, like 45 minutes, to about 14 hours, probably my longest one, from New Hampshire actually to Akron, Ohio. So many a bus trip, and it's cool. It's part of the journey, and a lot of time with teammates and getting to know guys, and yeah, we just had fun best we could.
In all these locations, New Hampshire, Dunedin, Salt River, Buffalo, Sacramento, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Memphis, Springfield, or any other locations I'm forgetting. What do you remember most about these locations or times you were there?
Oh man. I mean, definitely the guys, right? I mean, you spend, especially in the minor leagues, big leagues is a whole different animal. But in the minor leagues, there's kind of like this core group, especially when you get drafted by a team. You kind of move up with this core group of guys. There's about 10, 12 of you that kind of following each other around. And so just having that relationship, man, I mean, a lot of bus rides, a lot of games, and then really just a lot of days together. And so it's kind of finding those common grounds amongst people from all walks of life, all kinds of backgrounds, races, creeds, colors, whatever, just getting to hang out. And so that's probably number one. And then number two is, I mean, just kind of the life you've gotten to experience. I mean, the places I've traveled, I was a kid from Richmond, Virginia. I think I'd been on an airplane twice before I went to college. We drove everywhere for everything when I was growing up. And so getting to the minor leagues, and I mean, I think, guys, going to date myself a little bit, but I've played in every AA stadium except for Hartford, which used to be New Britain. So I've played literally every affiliate in AA that you could have played.
Wow.
And I think I'm only missing two AAA parks. I'm missing Charlotte and Gwinnett, which ironically are the two closest to where I went to college. So kind of funny, but yeah, man, it's just the experience that you get going so many places, so many different people.
Would you say, I'm sure you've seen a lot of baseball movies. Would you say Bull Durham is pretty close to, is it at all like the minor league atmosphere?
Not really the way it is now. Maybe, like I said, movies from the late 80s, early 90s. So maybe a little bit different in that time. But, man, I mean, I think part of the reason the game is trending the way it is, I think a lot of guys have put way more stock into the way they eat, the way they sleep, the recovery aspect, the way they work out. And I just think it's, not to knock anybody from any era, because obviously there's been guys like that from every era. But I just think the way the game is trending, that has become so important. And I've even seen a change in my career from the way that organizations are handling that change. So I think there's some similarities, but it's Hollywood and they do it up big.
Sure. And I'm thinking, like, when you go up and down, or to different, like whether it's to AA ball, AAA ball, high A, and you're in these different locations, I'd imagine when you're going back and forth to different places, you maybe run across the same guys, maybe from the team you played on. It might be on a different team, and just the chemistry. Even if you're not on the same team, you still have friendships, and you see guys every now and then when they're playing somewhere else. Oh
my gosh, yeah. I mean, especially a guy like me. Like I said, I'm on my 11th or 12th season. I'm on my 11th or 12th team. I mean, it's I've actually, perfect example. I threw my last game with the Toronto Blue Jays in the big leagues against the Anaheim Angels, and then I threw my first game with the Anaheim Angels in the big leagues against the Toronto Blue Jays. So I've crossed paths with, I always make that joke, just about everybody at this point. And if I haven't seen them, I will eventually.
Okay. Actually, so as in minor leagues, then we went to pros. You had a good debut.
Yeah, my first stretch with the Reds was pretty good. I threw out of the pen, I think my first 4 or 5 outings, something like that, and then I made 2 starts at the end of the year, and it went really well.
Yeah, so if for those who want to know, his very first outing was September 12th, 2017 against St. Louis. 1 2/3, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Nice.
Yep. Thank you.
And then your last game was against, as you said, Anaheim. Oakland, right?
Was that my last game? Something like that.
I
don't know. It's been a while.
What happens on April 21st, 2019?
April 21st, 2019.
What happened?
Threw a no-hitter in the KBO against Hanawa and Daejeon. So on the road, which is pretty cool, because for anyone listening who doesn't know, man, Asian baseball is a different animal when it comes to cheering. And,
especially Hanwha.
And there's not really that little like murmur in the crowd you kind of get over in America, where it's kind of like nothing. Oh, people get excited. No.
Right.
If you're on defense on the road, there's music, there's drums, there's cheerleaders, there's chanting. The crowd sings walkout songs. It is a completely different atmosphere. I told my friends the other day, it's kind of like college football, when it's just inverted. Normally when you're at home and you're on offense, everybody's quiet. When you're on defense, everybody's loud. It's flip-flopped in baseball. When you're on the road and you're on defense, man, that place is bumping. And I had one of those days where the stars aligned and threw a no-hitter.
Well, and actually, we're going to talk about Hanwha. Did you notice that Hanwha always traveled well with their fans?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if there was really a team in that league that didn't. You maybe catch some midweek games where people didn't travel quite as good to certain places. Obviously, like Daegu, is pretty far from some of the. I mean, it's a major city, but from some of the other cities of where people are coming from, Seoul and up north, stuff like that. But man, I mean, anytime we went to Seoul, I felt like that stadium was probably 25% Samsung. Anytime we were in, Hanawa, for instance, I mean, even that day we had a good probably 10-15% of that stadium was Samsung fans. And, it was always the same thing inverted when teams would come to us, especially some of those bigger, I mean, some of those weekend games, man, against Seoul and SK, even like coming from Incheon and, Kiwoom. I mean, even Kiwoom, everybody bagged on Kiwoom for kind of having that like traveling fan base, but even everywhere they went, they seemed like a good 10, 15, 20% of the stadium was their fans. So that league just, I mean, it's special. The fandom in Asian baseball in general is special. And I think a lot of us Americans take that for granted.
Okay. I guess we're to the point where I want to ask you lots of KBO questions. Now since I got
Fire away.
What did you like most about playing in the KBO?
I think for me personally, it was a chance to start every sixth day there with the Monday off day most of the time, but it was just a chance to start every day. I was coming off a year where I got optioned 10 times, designated 3. There was just no consistency in role I was pitching in and that kind of thing. So it was a chance to go and take the ball every 5th or 6th day and be a starter all year long in the same place. And again, I think that's something that a lot of people take for granted, myself included, early in my career. So that was probably number 1. 2, the relationships you develop with the other foreign guys there. The bond that it creates, just being, I mean, you want to talk about being in the minority. You're 30 out of an entire league of 10 teams. I mean, it's not a lot of dudes. And so kind of getting to go through that with a group of people that are kind of coming over from your same situation. You know what I mean? I mean, no disrespect to anybody who plays Asian baseball.
Quicker too.
Yeah, and then your teammates, man. I really can't say that enough, and I can't thank those guys enough. Like, kind of the way they take you under their wing, and the way that both of you kind of do your best to speak each other's language to the best of your abilities, and just stuff like that. I just think you can't trade that for the world. And it really was an awesome experience. And
it sounds like you're going to do it again in Taiwan this time.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, obviously this has been a little bit of a different beast with the 14-day quarantine, and then you come out and you have 7 more days where you kind of got, I think they call it a personal health week, where you just got to kind of monitor symptoms and stay away from large crowds. So we were kind of still isolated, even though we were able to go to the field. So I've really only had like 7 days, and just kind of transitioning in, making sure you get your legs back under you after having basically 20 days of kind of being sedentary. So I'm really excited to get going. Had our first couple. I got to throw a live BP today. First time kind of seeing guys play. I think we have a night game tonight, and I think the foreign guys are going to kind of get together and go watch the game together. And yeah, man, I'm really excited for it.
How'd you like the Mondays off in KBO?
Okay, so cool from a standpoint of it gives you a chance to explore. Like, I love that. I love being able to explore, taking the sites. We did a couple of tours up in Seoul, going to some of the older temples and stuff like that, and just getting to explore was super fun. Me personally, I'm a little bit of a routine junkie, so it gets a little tougher on me throwing on that 6th day. But yeah, when my family got out there, it was great. Obviously, having an extra day with my wife and son, so can't hate that.
A question I've been wanting to ask any foreigner, since you're the first one I'm asking. and obviously you got close to the Samsung foreigners. When you guys are playing other foreigners, in like let's say SK came to Daegu, would you be able to hang out with Romac and all those guys when like the game's over or anything like that, or no?
You do your best, but in that with just kind of the way that you know most of the time you shower back at the hotel. There's not really road clubhouses like there is over in America. So by the time everybody's kind of done with that, it's usually pretty late. So we try to catch them as much as you could after maybe a day game, or if they came in on the off day, maybe the night of the off day, you go grab a bite to eat. But you kind of understand too, like you're there for business. You hang out with people the best you can, but
before game,
before the game. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's a really cool kind of cultural thing and difference that I've noticed is when you play against other teams, guys will just come in the clubhouse, and because same thing, just because you're in the KBO, it changes nothing. Like there's plenty of guys who've changed teams and used to play here, used to play there, grew up together, whatever it may be. So, there's just a camaraderie in baseball that I don't know that it's really like that everywhere.
Well, I'm trying to think back. He had played in the KBO for I think 7 years, but did Sosa play in 2019 in the KBO?
Yeah, so he ended up joining SK maybe about halfway through. They had Brock Dixathorn.
Yeah, half season.
Yeah, so they had Dixathorn, who actually is now in the CPBL for the Uni Lions, if I'm not mistaken, Rob.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah. So Dixathorn was there for about half a season, and then they replaced him with Sosa, and then it seems like they both ended up here.
Yeah, now Sosa's in CPBL, and you'll get to see him again. And think about that. It's crazy.
Lots of KBO alums.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a list of like where all these foreigner guys have played in KBO, NPB, and CPBL. I'm trying to make a long list of guys and where they've played.
Yeah, there's a lot of us.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, did you want to ask Deck about any CPBL stuff?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about your quarantine? Like, how do you deal with it? I mean, we're talking about 14-day inside a hotel room.
Yeah, and Taiwan is much better than Korea's been doing too.
Yeah, so luckily the team was awesome. Provided us with an exercise bike and a few free weights. So I tried to keep just a pretty strict schedule. Wake up at the same time, no matter what. Eat the breakfast that was provided. Make some coffee. Make my phone calls because obviously the time change, time difference. I apologize. Call my wife, call my mom, call my brother. Whoever could talk at that time. Kind of do that until about 11. And then I have a couple buddies. We'd play some video games, get off, get my workout in. I'm a big proponent of the Oat specialty throwing sock. It's basically a little canvas baggie that you can throw a ball into. They provided, I have one of my own. So that's how I'd kind of throw for my 14 days. And yeah, just sticking to that schedule though, I'll tell you was big. It kind of, you're almost working meal to meal. That was kind of your checkpoints throughout the day. And then, just get to bed early, get up and do it all over again.
Wow. What about that earthquake, eh? Was it your first time experience that, or did you get that, 20 message alert on your phone or something like that?
Yeah. So, it actually was my first earthquake I've ever felt. I think there was one when I was growing up in Richmond. It was like super rare and like half the people felt it, half didn't. But yeah, I actually woke up 2 a.m. to the like continuous emergency alert thing. Felt a little swaying back and forth, and then had a hard time going back to sleep because I thought my heart was going to explode. Had a little mini heart attack, and then we actually had a second one. Yeah, we didn't get the 1,000 message alert the second time, but we had a second little rock and sway situation, and I definitely handled that one way better.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. You get used to it this year if you stay.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
What about one thing I want to ask you? Like, how did the signing came about? I mean, was your agent approach the CPBO or approaching the Monkeys, or the Monkey Scout approach you guys, or how did the signing came about?
I mean, I think it's kind of probably a little bit of both. Similar to KBO, like I said, I want a jersey and I want to play wherever I can play. And So I think there maybe was some dialogue going on for a couple months in both directions, and just kind of waiting to see, how things shaped out for everybody. I know how important it is to these teams to get these signings right. So I know they wait as long as they can to just see who's available and try to do right by the team. So yeah, I think all of us are kind of in the same boat. Everybody kind of happened within 4, 5, 6 days of each other, and made a decision and started working on some paperwork.
Oh, fantastic. And you earlier mentioned about meeting other people, meeting other former teammates in Taiwan. I did a little research before I coming on the show. I mean, you actually play with was going back to the stuff from 2015. You actually played with a Taiwanese player, Qing Hui Sao, in AAA back in 2015. In 2016, another two former CBBO player, Arturo Reyes and Jerome Williams. And then the next year, Brendan May, which is former Monkeys. He's now playing in the KBO. He's now a coach in the Lotte Giant, I believe, in the KBO. And Austin Bibbin Ducks.
Yep,
and
Austin Bibbins Ducks.
Also Junichi Tazawa and JC Ramirez, who's going to be in the CBBO this year. Did you have a chance to talk to any of them before signing with the Monkeys? Or
Great question.
So actually, the first person I talked to actually got drafted and signed the same year as Justin Nicolino, who is actually also a former Monkey. So me and Nicolino were never actually on the same team. He was always a little younger than me. He was a high school sign when I was college. But we've always been close, stayed in touch for a long time. So he was actually the first person I talked to. And then I've known Bibbins Dirks, actually, same thing. I've played with Austin Bibbins Dirks, gosh, on and off since seems like 2013, maybe.
wow.
So he was actually another person I reached out to and talked to a pretty decent amount, just about, his experience. And same thing with Justin. And obviously Justin playing here, even more so his experience with specifically Rakuten. So, like I said, the brotherhood is deep, and I've played with a lot of people, and so I always try to do my homework.
Did they give you any advice or any tips on how to handle the season in Taiwan?
Austin basically told me from everything he knows from other guys he's talked to, it's extremely similar to playing in a place like Korea. Do your best to integrate yourself, learn as many words and phrases as you can to help get you through the day. And really just lean on your translators. Justin talked about how great they were for him. And, I'm going to definitely do my best. I started Duolingo on Chinese. I will admit it is exponentially harder than Korean.
Oh my God.
At least Korean had an alphabet, and I learned the alphabet pretty quick, but there are a lot of characters to learn here in I believe it's Mandarin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And boy, is it kicking my butt, but I'm gonna do my best. And like I said, just try to integrate myself with the team the best I can.
What about your spring camp status? You mentioned earlier you start throwing live BP. What's next? Is there a timeline for you to make your how would you say the first practice game debut? Or
we'll see. One, I don't know how much information I'm allowed to tell you since you're a media member, but no, I think at this point, it's kind of a day-by-day situation, obviously, with everything just being so tough with the quarantine and stuff like that. I think all of us are kind of in the same boat, and it's just see how your body responds after each and every check mark, and then just keep going from there and get ready as fast as possible, but also as safely as possible, because I want to stay here all year, and nobody wants to get hurt in the first couple of weeks or something crazy.
And you mentioned about you staying in Taiwan for the whole year. Look, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but did the Monkeys sign you to a half-season contract, or is it a full-season contract?
Not allowed to talk about contracts.
Not allowed to talk about contract.
Was told very strictly that's a no-no. But honestly, it doesn't matter to me. My goal is to be here all year and help the Monkeys be the best team they can. No matter what the contract says.
All right, understand. What about a final question? since you got out of quarantine, have you been doing any sightseeing? Have you tried any local food? Have you go to any places you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, so it's been a little tough. We're down here in Chiayi, which is where our spring training site is. Not quite as big of a city as Taiwan is, so moving about has been proven a little bit more difficult. They don't have Uber here, which I've found like Cow Talk is in Korea. Anytime you can just plug your final destination in, it is extremely helpful. When your ability to communicate with the driver is extremely limited. So no, I mean we've really been just eating at the field. I'm a big try everything guy. I kind of made that deal with myself when I went to Korea, and same thing when I came here. I'm a little bit of a foodie, so I'll try a lot of stuff. And honestly, the food's been great. Like I said, I'm only out a week of being able to really go live my life a little bit. And so I'm excited whenever I get to go back up to Taiwan. I've heard there's some really cool night markets and stuff like that up there. And then obviously going into Taipei and getting to explore some of the bigger cities.
Make sure you try stinky tofu if you didn't do that already.
That's tough. I've eaten a lot of tofu, and I'm not the biggest fan. So when you drop a word like stinky on me, that's tough.
Like when you go to night markets, you can smell it. I mean, I actually I actually smelled that bad, but I did eat it, and it wasn't that bad. Also, have you had the bubble tea? Yeah,
so I had bubble tea in Korea. I've had a little bit here.
Well, I'm pretty sure
also not a huge
in Taiwan, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a go. I'm not a huge tea guy in general. I'll drink some green tea in there. I like matcha, matcha green tea, but
sweet and cold, it's much better, right?
Big time coffee guy. So I'm really digging them having a Starbucks on every corner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, what was your did you have a favorite restaurant in Daegu, or what was your favorite Korean food?
Oh man. Oh, that's such a tough call. I mean, Korean barbecue is probably the easy one.
Sure.
Gosh.
Sundae.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I love some gimbap. Dumplings. I mean, who doesn't love a good dumpling? God, favorite restaurant though? I don't know. That's so hard. I feel like we tried everything, and there was one Korean barbecue place, and I'm never going to forgive myself because I cannot remember the name to save my life. But it was over by the stadium.
Okay.
It was over by the stadium, maybe 2 or 3 blocks, a little farther than that, maybe 10 minutes from the stadium. So on the other side of Daegu from where we live. And man, it was definitely, I think the best Korean barbecue I had while I was there. They would give you these big blocks of mozzarella cheese to fry up on the barbecue too, which was sneaky awesome. And yeah, I mean, I loved it. But I'm excited. I mean, I'm really excited to kind of dive into the Taiwanese food a little more. I know it's pretty much what they feed you at the field, obviously. But I'm excited to go check out some restaurants. And I'm a big ramen guy. My wife finally talked me into doing it. I can never just get the blocks of ramen from college out of my head, so it's tough to go get a bowl somewhere, but there were some really good ramen spots in Daegu, and I mean, yeah, I'll try anything once.
What did you think about Samsung Lions Park?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I mean, I really don't think there was a bad park in Korea. I like pitching in Jamsil. That place is a graveyard. Big fan of that. Okay. And plus just the atmosphere there was pretty legit. But yeah, I mean, they do a great job, and gotten to walk into Monkeys Park only just a little bit. They were coming off the Chinese New Year, so there wasn't really anybody there. But yeah, I'm just excited, man. The atmosphere, like I said before, you cannot fake that atmosphere anywhere in Asia, and the way how passionate those fans are for baseball, man, it's special.
All right, I know you mentioned. I think you mentioned that the camaraderie with teammates and meeting foreigners when you're playing baseball games in Korea. As far as your favorite memory playing in Korea, like your favorite, is it the no-hitter?
No, I mean, yeah, it's the 100%. But there were some good ones. I mean, we had so Park Han-hee hit a walk-off double basically in his last game in the KBO. So that was awesome. we had a ton of milestones that year. I know Song-Soo had like a hit milestone. Minho, I think, hit his 200th homer. Drove in his 2000th run or some crazy high number. So yeah, man, we had our team was awesome, and yeah, there's a lot of things that I really had a blast.
Or Kuja-wook and Park Min. Those are obviously two celebrities, two stars, two fan favorites. How are those guys?
I mean, Ja-wook's the man. He's awesome. His talent level is really impressive. I mean, he runs like a deer. Haemin's great. Having him behind you in center field is never a bad feeling. I mean, I'd say he's probably the best defensive center fielder in that league. And yeah, I mean, just that whole team, man. There really wasn't a guy on that team that stuck out as like, even really like standoffish or anything like that. I mean, I just had a great time. Like, Daewoo, our side armor. I mean, that guy was incredible. He did every job. Q-Min, I know he came over from, I think it was LG maybe before, or KT, and he was great. He was one of like the first people that kind of helped us out. He was kind of the captain of the pitchers. PJ Piljun speaks pretty good English, and so he helped us out a ton in spring training when we had no clue what was going on, and stuff like that. So, like I said, I was really fortunate to have the team I had and the experience I had. I wish it had ended a little bit better, but I did. I loved the experience.
Actually, now you're making me think of something. How was it your first time playing in KBO? Was your first foreign league, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was it like? Obviously, every batter is just a batter, but I'm wondering, like when you're facing foreigners, I understand you just might say he's just another player, but is there something there when you have to throw against another U.S. American or maybe even a Canadian? Or,
okay.
Like a Romac or other studs on there.
Not really. I mean, especially because I played against so many of those guys already before I got there. Yeah, I mean, I played against Tommy Joseph and Hoying and Romac, and I don't know if I'd played against Rojas, but I mean, yeah, no. I mean, for me, it's they're probably the guy that you don't let beat you for obvious reasons. I mean, there's a reason that all of them hit 3-hole, 4-hole, whatever. Right. So you obviously want to be just smarter maybe when you pitch to them about situationally and stuff like that. But it's no different. I mean, if the 4-hole guy, I mean, Kangbek Ho and Park Byung-ho, I mean, all these guys, like, you're not going to let that guy beat you. So it's just so important to make sure that the guy you're facing, you just know. And that's why I learned the alphabet so soon, because I wanted to be able to not only just read the name and look at a guy and know, but like kind of know the guy and learn the guy. And I just want to make sure I could do that just as a baseball player, no matter where you're playing.
Okay. Rob, did you have any more questions?
No, I think I asked everything.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot I'm forgetting, and I did want to show you all those baseball cards of you, but I don't know how to use this program fully enough on StreamYard. So I definitely want to have you back if you're up for it sometime.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'm always in.
All right, everybody. This is Deck McGuire of the Rakuten Monkeys, who will be pitching in the CPBL this year. Rob, Deck, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks a lot.